Hello, my name is Tori Smith, and this is a daily child trafficking report for the United States MILABS for Sunday, the 24th of April, 2016. If this is your first video, there's 40 major child trafficking locations, which are called MILABS. But child trafficking is actually the fourth thing on their list that they do in these locations. Creation of temporals is the number one thing they do, and the creation of biological and chemical weapons and also viruses. One of their favorite things to do is they have this thing, it's called, they either with needle, hypodermic needle, or this other weapon they have is called disease ray technology. And they load it with liquid, and it's broadcast. It doesn't have to touch you, and it's broadcast into your body. And one of their favorite things to do is 47 flu viruses that have been created in MILABS. They're going around broadcasting this into people. In fact, 14.3 million people have been infected by temporals. And I think that they're far more dangerous than clones or any other weapon because we don't see them. They can either come in with a person's consciousness, or they can come in as it's a military drone, and with just basically like an artificial intelligence drone that's programmed, okay, go into this house and then infect this person with whatever, biological, chemical weapons. They have another one where they have a mixture of 18 biological and chemical weapons, including weapons-grade anthrax, which is another one of their favorites to inject into us. Okay, on Sunday, 88 children came from one source and then distributed to 4 locations. AFRICOM was the child trafficking source that brought in these 88 children, and they were taken from a refugee camp in Libya. Now, if you remember, a few years ago, the United States of America committed a horrible war crime against Libya, which was overseen by Bill and Hillary Clinton, which produced the Benghazi situation. So far, since this war crime against Libya started, 146,728 people in Libya have been murdered. Now, this all started because the leader of Libya was he would refuse to accept United States paper money for the oil his country was producing, and he wanted gold, and that's why they killed him. And he was also blamed to be part of this massive airplane crash that occurred, I believe, in Scotland, but it was really the CIA that pulled that off. CIA is the one that pulls off all the terrorist attacks on the planet. They're 99% of them anyway. Okay, and by the way, Bill and Hillary Clinton were arrested. They were arrested right after New Year's in January. And they're both awaiting trial in Aeron, which is spelled A-E-R-O-N if you want to look it up. They were flown, these children were flown on 2 cargo jets to Andrews Air Force Base, and 62 of these children were raped by AFRICOM males, a total of 96 times. Once they landed at Andrews Air Force Base, all 84 were raped by a total of 117 times by Air Force males and the CIA. And then the children were distributed to 3 locations, the Pentagon MILAB. 16 children were taken there, and they were gang raped by a group of 427 males, a total of 872 times. And these were all Pentagon males, and 16 high-ranking officers murdered the children by choking them to death during rape, which is the favorite way for these men to kill. I've witnessed this. I was introduced to this child trafficking program when I was being raped. They used drugs on me, and they had paralyzation weapons. And while I was being raped, they murdered 54 children. That was at the Arlington, Virginia MILAB. And then at another MILAB later, while I was being raped, they murdered 16 children in the room. And it was too horrific. In fact, if I connect too much to those memories, I have a physical seizure. And I lose control of my body, and I start shaking very violently. But my head, my consciousness stays okay, but it's just too much to deal with. And I fall apart all the time. In Denver, 12 children were gang raped by a group of 72 males, a total of 113 times. And this was a special party for the Bush clones and the Bush family members. And 12 DARPA males from Montauk, Long Island, which is where they do the cloning process, they were selected to kill these children during rape. But it was the Bush clones, the Bush family, the DARPA males from Montauk, the NSA, TSA, DHS, the CIA, and the FBI all participated in the gang rapes of these 12 children. And which is kind of weird, you know, I think it's a sign of the times. Usually I monitor the clone population on this planet because it's always indicative of what's going on. Like right after the 819 were arrested, suddenly there was a population of like 1,347 clones. And for some reason, they were producing clones in 17 MILABS, but for some reason they are just producing them now at the Montauk location, Montauk, Long Island, where they do a lot of genetic experiments, infusing humans and animals with other animals that have no business being, like mammals and reptilians together. And a lot of times they get loose and then they wash up on the shores of New York. So there's all kinds of pictures available on the internet of these animals that have gotten loose out of Montauk. There's also another cloning production place, and it's in Brazil. Okay, and then the other group of children were sent to Dulce. You know, New Mexico has 3 MILABS, Roswell, Dulce, and Albuquerque. And 60 children were gang raped by a group of 418 males, a total of 1,168 times. And all these men were military except for 3 CEOs from military contracting companies, which are basically war criminal companies. You know, all these companies like Aerostar in New York, all they do is produce weapons to kill people. Well, that's war criminal. And all these 60 children were murdered by a group of reptilians. And as of today, you know, I usually run late over the weekends. Today is Tuesday evening at 9:40 p.m. Eastern. A little while ago, the rest of the remaining reptilians have been arrested and removed. And what the process they're going is the Nazis or Illuminati or dark side or child traffickers or war criminals, whatever you want to call this group of people that have basically took over the world. And but now most of their leaders have been arrested and removed. Their minions, what they're doing is they're desperate to remain in control of this planet, and so they're calling out to dark entity reptilians in other places because the insectians can't come in anymore because the vibration is just way too high. They can't handle it. Insectians have a much lower vibration than the reptilians, even those who rape and murder by the thousands. And they keep promising them gold, and so they bring in new equipment to make more temporals because the temporal producing equipment keeps getting destroyed over and over and over again. So they call out and they say, hey, we're going to give you a lot of gold if you bring in new equipment to make temporals. Well, they might call it equipment or whatever. They have different words. And we'll give you lots of gold and just bring all the weapons you got. And so what happens is they come in, the reptilians put all this new machinery or computers or devices or whatever it is you want to call it in the MILABS so they can produce more temporals. And but the process is that they can't, none of them stay very long. Usually it's 48 to 72 hours maximum, but a lot of them are arrested within minutes. And so the dark side here on this planet runs in, gets all their equipment, all their weapons, takes their ships and all that stuff, and then the reptilians go out, and a lot of times, you know, like I said, they're arrested right away within minutes. Other times it takes hours, sometimes it takes a couple of days, but as of today, they're all gone. Again, it's been 9,000, well over 9,000. Let me see if I can pull up a number. 9,392. 9,000, what did I just say? I just forgot. 9,392. Thank you. have been arrested so far, and what a process that is. Oh my God, we're so tired. I think I slept like 12 or 13 hours yesterday. I was just so exhausted with all these weapons and stuff they're using against us. You know, a lot of times people are in pain, they don't even know, and there's like a temporal standing right next to them firing a weapon at them. You know, and that's how, like Prince, that's how he was killed. He was killed with a scalar handgun by this NSA agent who's murdered 62 children during rape and commits a bunch of other horrible crimes. But, you know, Prince didn't even know he was there because you don't see the temporals. We don't see the temporals. We just feel the wrath of their weapons. But things are looking up. At least they're all gone. At least they're all arrested again. I think we arrested 107 today. It was a busy day, but hopefully this will be over soon. I wish more people cared about children being raped and murdered in this country. I know at one point we had over 1,000 people praying for this to end, which to me really means a lot. It does a lot to the kids in heaven because they all know who you are. Everybody that's prayed for this to end, I guarantee you, the children who are raped and murdered, when they're in heaven and once they go through their healing process and all of they talk to their friends and family and everything, they look and see, why did we go through that? Well, because Earth is a savage planet filled with filthy, lying murderers, and most of them are here in the United States. But they know, and they're waiting to greet a lot of people when we die. A lot of people are going to get greeted, and they're going to be right there to say thank you. Thank you for caring about us. Thank you for doing something to make a difference. Because everybody in heaven is watching, and I keep telling these criminals over and over again, everything they do is being recorded. Everything, every child that's been raped, that act has been recorded. Every child that's been murdered, that act has been recorded. And all those records are in the Hall of Justice. And anybody that has more than 51% sacred light can go there and witness that evidence that I read for themselves, which is basically what I do. I read evidence and I communicate with others, especially those doing the arrests, they're all humans, and they're from 4 places called Procyon, Andromeda, Alpha Centauri, and Taiseti. Thank you, have a nice day, and thank you for your prayers for ending child trafficking.